Elon Musk has revolutionized the space industry, giving us a constant dose of unprecedented innovations and inventions that have made space travel easier and cheaper. The latest of them all is a fascinating high-tech spacesuit that ridicules all the NASA-made spacesuits before it. But how is this spacesuit different from its predecessors? And how does NASA feel about it? Let's find out. In a world where there are many spacesuits that guarantee the utmost safety of astronauts in space, the SpaceX high-tech suit stands in a league of its own. It's equipped with top-level cutting-edge features and a blockbuster exterior design that would embarrass NASA's spacesuit designer. Back in the day, spacesuits had only one job: keeping astronauts safe from the many dangers in space. However, times are fast-changing and the design of spacesuits is undergoing a paradigm shift from what it used to be. Contrary to what you might think, a spacesuit is not just an ordinary outfit that astronauts wear to space. Instead, they're designed like a mini spaceflight. Spacesuits consist of many components or segments, if you like. The first and probably most obvious is the helmet, which protects the head just like a normal helmet would. The only difference is that the helmet in a spacesuit is much more robust and technologically advanced. As standard practice, the visor of an astronaut's helmet is tinted with a thin layer of gold to protect them from the effects of intense solar radiation. Also, this helmet protects astronauts from space dust, which sometimes travels at speeds of up to 44 miles per hour. Generally, spacesuits are designed to have different layers, which work for different purposes like supplying oxygen and shielding the face from dust and other particles. Underneath the spacesuits, astronauts are required to wear a cloth that covers the entire body except their heads, hands, and feet. A tube that transports water is weaved in this cloth, and this helps cool the temperature of the astronauts. Behind the spacesuit, you've got a backpack that houses oxygen and passes out carbon dioxide. This pack also houses the power unit of the spacesuit and a water tank. Also, in times past, spacesuits were fitted with a device called SAFER, which featured small thruster jets that helped astronauts fly back to base after their extravehicular activities. But spacesuits have since evolved in terms of design and aesthetics, beginning with the Mercury suit in 1963. Most notable, it was worn by John Glenn for the first American orbital mission, which happened on the road 20th of February 1962. During this iconic mission, John orbited the Earth 3 times, traveling 75,679 miles in 4 hours and 55 minutes. Designed by the B.F. Goodrich Company, Mercury spacesuits were modeled off the U.S. Navy Mark IV high-altitude jet aircraft pressure suit, which featured a neoprene-coated nylon fabric to regulate temperature. After the Mercury phase came the Gemini era, and of course the transition was marked by the introduction of a new spacesuit called Gemini spacesuits. They were in service between 1965 and 1966, helping humanity to explore space even better. The Gemini suit was worn by astronauts like Gus Grissom, John Young, and Ed White, who performed the first American spacewalk in it. Designed and manufactured by the David Clark Company, the concept behind these suits was to make them more comfortable than their predecessor. A typical Mercury suit weighs between 16 and 34 pounds. And in addition, they offered more connectivity, making it easier for astronauts to connect with spacecraft and help gadgets like air conditioners. Next, President John F. Kennedy decided it was time to visit the moon. At the time, the moon was unknown territory, but cosmic scientists figured we would need a more robust spacesuit to explore it, and that led to the invention of the Apollo spacewalk suit, which was in service between 1967 and 1975. In designing the Apollo spacesuit, astronauts had 3 boxes to tick. First, the suit must be able to protect astronauts from the moon's regolith and dust. Temperature was also a concern, so they needed a spacesuit that could shield the astronauts better than the Gemini suits did. An ideal spacesuit for the moon needs to offer extended operational time. And finally, it had to be extra flexible to allow astronauts to pick up samples and tools. The spacesuit met all these requirements, and at 180 pounds, it remains one of the heaviest spacesuits ever made. However, it weighed 6 times less on the moon, which made things easier for Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin when they became the first astronauts to land on the lunar surface in 1969. After the success of the Apollo suit, expectations were high within the space industry for the next spacesuit, and for sure, astronauts were not disappointed with what they got next, the Space Shuttle flight suit. Beginning from 1988, this suit was a main feature for Space Shuttle missions until the program was abolished in 2011. It was later upgraded and offered as the Advanced Crew Escape Suit, ACES, with additional additional perks like built-in parachutes and drinking packets for extended extravehicular activities, the Space Shuttle spacesuit outperformed its predecessors. It did an all-important job of keeping the astronauts safe, but it was an absolute disaster in terms of design. You could tell just by staring at it that aesthetics wasn't a priority for the manufacturers of the suit. But thankfully, the new SpaceX spacesuit is designed with a different approach. If you have reached this far in the video, we would like to give you a huge thanks. You can extend your support by subscribing to the channel and turning that notification bell on, so you don't miss any of the content we upload. Comment down below, "I subbed," for your chance to be entered into our monthly shoutout giveaway. It's not a surprise anyway, given that Elon Musk, the founder of SpaceX, is a stylish, multi-talented man himself. Following the end of the space shuttle program, American astronauts were forced to travel to space on board Russian rockets. So obviously NASA had bigger problems to tackle than focusing on the design of spacesuits. Eventually, Elon Musk came to the rescue with the reusable SpaceX Dragon rocket, which ferried two NASA astronauts, Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken. It was a landmark event that marked the first time NASA astronauts will travel to the ISS in an American spacecraft, and it's needless to say they got the best costume to go with it. This exquisite spacesuit was designed by prestigious Hollywood costume designer Jose Fernandez, who also made the costume for blockbusters movies such as Captain America, Iron Man 2, Civil War, Spider-Man, and Batman vs. Superman. That certainly explains why the SpaceX high-tech spacesuit looks more like a superhero outfit. It features a flawless and tight-fitting design that captivates the attention of onlookers, and without doubt, this suit could pass for a fashion exhibition outfit. Due to its flashy design, many people doubted if the SpaceX suit was an actual spacesuit. Musk got a hint of this worry and had to offer reassurances that the suit definitely works. "You can just jump in a vacuum chamber with it and it's fine," the tech billionaire said. Aside from its breathtaking design, the SpaceX high-tech spacesuit is a performance machine as well. It's made with non-flammable materials to prevent incessant fire outbreaks. Furthermore, it is equipped with integrated valves, microphones, and touch-sensitive gloves and 3D helmets. All of these features were available to Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken during their trip to the ISS in May 2020. And judging from their comments afterwards, you can tell they absolutely love the SpaceX suit. "I bet you we've donned and offered those suits a couple hundred times," Hurley said in excitement during a press conference aboard the ISS, adding that they were actually much easier to get in and out of in zero-G. During the same interview, his partner Bob Behnken echoed similar thoughts. "We'd have to give the suits a 5-star rating," Behnken said. "These suits didn't have to do that job for us, which was nice, but it was clear that they were ready." Behnken also claimed that the SpaceX spacesuit has at least one big advantage over the Pumpkin spacesuits. He wasn't specific about what this advantage is, but I think we can tell. Well, it might interest you to know that this spacesuit was used to launch a Tesla dummy back in 2018. We should also mention that the SpaceX suit is strictly an intravehicular spacesuit, meaning it can only be worn inside spacecraft. But nevertheless, it's a beauty to behold, and we hope the impeccable design can be implemented with the existing or future extravehicular spacesuits. Be sure to check out this next video over here.